Hey, my name is Josh, and my roommate has been in the shower for more than 4 hours. It's funny because when I first noticed it, I didn't think much of it. I got home at around 11 p.m. after a late night at the office turned into an even later night at the bar. 4 drinks deep, and I was exhausted, barely keeping my eyes open as I stumbled through the doorway of our small 2-bedroom apartment. The familiar hum of the bathroom fan greeted me, the one that always clicks on when someone uses the shower. I didn't even pay attention at first. Maybe just enough to mutter under my breath, "Must be Mark." I dropped my keys on the table, kicked off my shoes, and flopped down on the couch. I was tired, buzzed, and just about ready to fall asleep right there. Instead, I reached for my bag of joints, sparked one up, and opened my laptop to pull up YouTube. Some background noise always helped me wind down, you know? But as I scrolled through videos, something gnawed at me. A low, dull sound, constant and steady, blending with the hum of the fan. It was the shower running, still running. I glanced over at the bathroom door, a thin line of light spilling out from underneath. Mark's probably doing one of his weird late-night routines, I thought. He's always been a night owl, sometimes staying up until 2 or 3 in the morning. But when I checked the clock on my laptop, it was already midnight. I sat up, suddenly aware of how long I'd been sitting there. 30 minutes, and the shower hadn't stopped. I took a drag from the joint, exhaled, and tried to shake it off. "Mark, man, you're wasting water," I mumbled to no one in particular, my voice drowned out by the steady rush of water. An hour passed. The shower was still going. Now I was getting annoyed. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I stood up, stretching my tired limbs, and walked over to the bathroom door. I knocked, soft at first. "Hey, Mark, are you all right in there?" No response. I knocked again, harder this time. "Dude, come on, you've been in there forever." Nothing. My buzz was wearing off and my patience with it. I knocked a third time, almost pounding on the door. "Mark, you better not be passed out there." Silence. I pressed my ear against the door, listening carefully. The water was still running, but there was no other sound. No movement, no shuffling, no voice. A knot tightened in my stomach. Maybe he slipped and hit his head, or passed out for real. I had to check. I grabbed the handle, testing it. Locked. "Mark, I'm coming in, all right?" I said, my voice is a little shaky now. No response. I jimmied the lock with a flathead screwdriver from the kitchen drawer and swung the door open. Steam billowed out, hot and suffocating, filling the hallway as I swishbled inside. The bathroom mirror was fogged up, droplets of water clinging to every surface. I looked toward the shower, the curtain drawn shut. "Mark?" I hesitated, the sound of the running water suddenly louder and more oppressive. Something felt off, more than just my roommate being weird. Something about the air, the atmosphere in the bathroom. It felt wrong, like the room was heavier, thicker, harder to breathe in. I reached for the shower curtain, my hand trembling slightly, and pulled it back in one swift motion. Nothing. The tub was empty. The water was still running, ice cold now, splattering against the porcelain. But Mark wasn't there. The knot in my stomach twisted tighter. I stepped back, wiping the sweat from my forehead. Where the hell could he be? He wasn't the kind of guy to pull pranks like this, and it wasn't like him to leave the apartment without saying anything, especially not in the middle of a shower. I turned off the water and stood there for a moment, trying to make sense of it all. The steam slowly dissipated, leaving the room cold and damp. I shut the bathroom door behind me and checked Mark's room, just to be sure. His bed was neatly made, his phone and wallet sitting on the nightstand. Now I was officially freaked out. I grabbed my phone to call him, but before I could dial, I heard something, a faint sound, barely audible, but definitely there. I stopped and listened. It was coming from the bathroom. A soft drip, drip, drip. No, it wasn't the faucet. This was different. It was almost like footsteps, wet footsteps. I walked back to the bathroom, my heart racing, and pressed my ear against the door again. The sound was louder now, like something, or someone, was pacing back and forth inside. But I had just been there. There was no one. I swallowed hard, my mouth suddenly dry. This time I didn't knock. I swung the door open and empty. The bathroom was empty, but the mirror wasn't fogged anymore. Someone had wiped it clean, just enough to see their reflection. My reflection. Except it wasn't just me. There was something behind me. I whipped around, but the room was still empty. No one there. The steam was gone now, the air cold and thick with tension. I turned back to the mirror, staring hard, trying to convince myself it was just my mind playing tricks on me. But as I watched, the outline of a figure slowly materialized behind me again, barely visible in the corner of the mirror. My heart was pounding in my chest. I spun around again, this time half expecting to see someone standing there. But there was no one. I backed out of the bathroom, slamming the door shut behind me, and collapsed onto the couch, my mind racing. What the hell was going on? Where was Mark? I tried calling him again, but his phone went straight to voicemail. I sent him a text. "Dude, where are you? This isn't funny." Minutes passed, but the only response was silence. I sat there, staring at the bathroom door, every nerve in my body on edge. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Mark. "I'm in the shower." My blood ran cold. I stared at the message, my hands shaking. It didn't make sense. I had just been in the bathroom. I had just seen that it was empty. Another buzz. "I'm in the shower." The same message. Again. My heart pounded harder, my breath quickening. Buzz. "I'm in the shower." I dropped my phone, my chest tightening as panic set in. This wasn't Mark. It couldn't be. I backed away from the bathroom door, my eyes wide, my mind scrambling for answers. And then I heard it again. The water. The shower had started running. I froze, staring at the door, the soft rush of water filling the silence of the apartment. Slowly, almost mechanically, I moved toward the door again. I don't know what I was expecting or why I was even thinking about opening it, but something was drawing me in, something that made no sense. I reached for the handle and paused, my fingers trembling. For a long moment, I just stood there, my hand hovering over the doorknob, terrified of what might be on the other side. Then I heard it, a voice, low and raspy, barely more than a whisper, but unmistakably coming from inside the bathroom. "Come in." I jerked my hand back like I had been burned, stumbling away from the door. My heart was racing so fast I thought it might explode. I grabbed my phone off the floor and bolted toward the front door of the apartment, my mind screaming at me to get out. But as I reached for the doorknob, I heard it again. That voice, closer this time. "Come in." I stopped, frozen in place, my hand gripping the doorknob so tight my knuckles turned white. Slowly I turned around, my back pressed against the door, and my eyes locked onto the bathroom. The door was open, just a crack, and through that crack, I could see the faint outline of a figure standing in the bathroom. Tall, lanky, with water dripping off its skin. It wasn't Mark. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. The figure just stood there, staring at me from the shadows, its eyes gleaming in the dim light of the hallway. Then it smiled. Not a normal smile, but something else. Something is wrong. Its mouth stretched too wide, the skin around its lips cracking and peeling as it grinned at me. I bolted out of the apartment, slamming the door behind me, my legs shaking as I raced down the hallway and out into the street. The cold night air hit me like a punch to the chest, but I didn't stop running until I was halfway down the block. I called the police, told them everything. They showed up at the apartment, searched every inch of it, but they didn't find anything. No sign of Mark, no sign of anyone. And the shower, it wasn't running when they got there. The bathroom was dry, the mirror is clean, everything is perfectly normal. But I know what I saw, I know what I heard. Mark's still missing. It's been days now, and there's been no word from him. The police don't have any leads, no clues, no nothing. But I keep getting those texts. I'm in the shower, and every time I hear the sound of running water, I think about that night, about that thing standing in the bathroom smiling at me. And I wonder if Mark ever really left, or if he's still in there, waiting.